For Media Watch now, Shona Bhattacharya is here for us tonight. Good to see you, Shona.
Hello.
We're going to start back in the United States. An unwritten rule of American politics is that if you want to go ahead, it's probably not best to criticise the families of dead war heroes.
That's right, or war heroes themselves. Donald Trump, of course, will stoop to anything and to anyone just to get a rise. The Republican nominee is almost like this attack dog, and nothing is too low or too sacred. Now, on Thursday night, if you'll recall, a certain Khizr Khan took the stage at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia. He gave a speech with his wife at his side. We can see the speech there. And their son, Humayun, was a captain in the U.S. Army, and he was killed by a suicide bomber while he was stationed in Iraq. Now, the Khans are Muslim. And Mr. Khan accused Trump, who has called for banning Muslims from entering the U.S. He accused Trump of not knowing the Constitution, of not having sacrificed anything for his country the way Mr. and Mrs. Khan have lost their son. Now, Mrs. Khan didn't speak during that speech, and Trump jumped on that. He suggested that maybe she wasn't allowed to speak because she's Muslim. You know, Muslims are different, they're sexist, they're patriarchal. So Ghazala Khan wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post to defend herself, saying that she was too emotional to speak, that Trump knows nothing about true sacrifice. And the Khans also made several TV appearances over the weekend, and Trump took to Twitter to respond, saying, "I was viciously attacked by Mr. Khan at the Democratic Convention, and my not allowed to respond." Well, on Monday, the Khans spoke again, and this time they spoke to CNN, and they said, "That's it. We don't want this to continue.
Right.
This is not our past."
Because it's got blanket coverage, hasn't it, in the United States?
That's right. They went from being
running
completely anonymous to being the center of attention for 48, 72 hours, and they just had enough. And while they were tweeting that, or while they were saying that, I should say, on CNN, the Donald Trump was still tweeting about how Mr. Khan, who doesn't know me, viciously is attacking me on television. Now, it is important to note that Trump has tried to steer the conversation away from the fact that Humayun Khan was a U.S. Muslim fallen soldier and toward...
Who died in Iraq. He was killed
who
by
died
a
in
suicide
Iraq
bomber.
by a suicide bomber.
A victim of terrorism himself.
Well, right, exactly. And yet he's Muslim, and Trump is trying to make it instead about radical Islamic terror.
Okay, and the family are not the only ones who've got involved, are they? We spoke to our correspondent earlier. He was at the Arlington Military Cemetery. It's not just the Khans who are upset about this. An awful lot of people really are, aren't they?
Absolutely. Now, the Democrats, including Hillary Clinton, have defended the Khans and attacked Trump. Hillary Clinton said on the campaign trail, one doesn't know where the bottom is, basically referring to how low Trump can ever go to criticize someone. Mr. Khan also called on Republicans to come out against Trump, and a handful of Republicans have, in fact, including John McCain, who was the former Republican nominee in 2008, himself a war hero.
Himself criticized by Trump.
Exactly. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan has also spoken out, but no one has actually, withdrawn their support from Donald Trump, so that's a very important distinction.
A lot of Republicans have criticized him, it has to be said, for those comments.
Yes.
But you're right.
But
nobody has retracted
no budging on their
They're
support.
Standing by their man.
That's right.
For now.
So,
yes,
story.
go on.
I was going to say, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, well, let's move on to another story, because, that one's going to run and run. I'm just thinking of what Hillary Clinton said at her convention. She said, a man you can bait with a tweet probably shouldn't be in charge of nuclear weapons.
Yeah, it's surprising how much he tweets.
Yeah, he's on Twitter a lot, isn't he? Another story though, here in France, there have been some protests about this last week. A young man, I believe a man of Malian origin, was killed in police custody.
Traoré, exactly. Adama Traoré. He was 24 years old. He died while in French police custody on July 19th. Now, Traoré was black, and there were immediate comparisons with the U.S. Police violence. But first, let's talk about what we know about the circumstances of his death. So while Traoré, who had gotten in trouble with the law before, when he saw police coming, he fled. And he was later caught by 3 policemen who may have fallen on him at the same time. And though it is certain that he did say at one point that I can't breathe, the exact cause of the death, despite one report and another autopsy, has not been clearly made so far. So the body is likely to undergo yet another autopsy because the family family still doesn't have the body of their 24-year-old.
Right, and as you say, a lot of comparisons have been made with what happened to Eric Garner, an African American who also died in police custody.
That's right, and he also said, "I can't breathe," and that became one of the slogans for the Black Lives Matter movement. Eric Garner, who was killed 2 years ago. Now, although French police don't kill and get away with killing as many minorities as police in the U.S. do. I mean, just from a numerical perspective, that's absolutely true. It is a stark reminder, though, that human rights are human rights no matter where they are. And the New York Times, in fact, wrote an op-ed, calling Black Lives Matter in France, too. And they remind readers, for example, that a 2009 report here in France found that people who look like they're black or Arab are 6 to 8 times as likely to be stopped by police in Paris. This is a story that might grow and that might get ugly in the next few days if the truth doesn't come out about what exactly happened to this young man in police custody.
Shona, thank you very much indeed. Shona Traoré there.